So what is a luxury experience that we've talked about in the past year that you were amazed it even existed?
Bring your imagination to life with inspiring stories of an incredible and very real world.
Hey, this is Allison Burns and Lulu Picard with 10K Dollar Day, the podcast.
Yep, and we love to travel, and we love to plan traveling especially. Although when we first started this project, Allison, you hadn't actually traveled that much, right?
That is correct. I had only been in the U.S. I had never been over an ocean, which to me was a very big deal.
Yeah, getting out there can be hard. But we've now been doing the podcast for a year, so we have been traveling in our minds a lot and planning a lot of vacations. But we have figured out when we're together how to have a luxurious time without spending a lot of money.
That is correct. Fancy experiences on shoestring budgets.
That's our life. So, for instance, we look up a lot of luxury things, fancy hotels, really beautiful ways to spend a lot of money somewhere. But when we're together, we're actually saving a lot of money. One of our favorite tricks is to go to a restaurant, order whatever you want, but split it.
What do I always say? You can always
order more.
That's right, if you're still hungry. So just split it. And I guarantee you, I think maybe once we've ordered more. Like normally you're like, wow, that was really filling.
I don't think we very often order more. We do that a lot. That helps us save lots of money. And I will say that the first few times we did it, I thought that maybe we might get a little judgment from the servers because they know that we're trying to keep the money down. And of course their tip goes down. So there's a little bit of that. But normally I haven't gotten any blowback at all. People are like, okay, It's not a big deal. You can just go in and say, hey, we're going to split the ribeye and we'll also get a side.
Yep.
And that leaves enough budget for you to have dessert and sample it.
Exactly. And some of those restaurants, they will charge you like the extra plate fee, but that's still going to be cheaper than ordering an entire separate meal. So it really is more cost effective, but yet you're having the same fancy experience that the table next to you is having, and they've ordered, twice as much.
Yeah. Another really great way to up your fancy experience at a restaurant without actually forking over the big bucks, bring your wine.
Yes.
Especially if you're going to go for a good bottle of wine. Of course, it's easier to get it at the restaurant, but restaurants in general mark it up quadruple the price that it is. So you might as well go and get your fancy wine, and there will be a corkage fee. It could be up to $30, $35, but you're still coming out ahead if you want to go with those high-end wines. If you're going for a medium range or even one of the cheaper wines on the wine list, go ahead and get it there and try to get a bottle if you can, as opposed to the glass, because it will be cheaper if everyone wants to drink the same wine, and you'll really be coming out ahead.
Yeah, 100%. And I've even joined a wine club recently where I will get 6 bottles of really great wine delivered to my house. And in the long run, you do the math, it is much cheaper than just going to the store or going to the restaurant and buying these bottles one by one. So there are some really cost-effective ways to keep the wino in you intact.
Do you have any really good tricks for, let's say you're going out with a group of people and they pick a restaurant that's more expensive than you were prepared for? Do you have a trick to get out of that situation, or how do you survive that?
Most of the time, I will be one of the people that goes to the sides.
Oh, yeah.
Where the a la carte kind of thing. And I got to tell you, a lot of times people will follow suit. They will be like, oh, yes, that's true. I want all of these little tastes. So a lot of times you think that maybe that feels like the cheaper experience, but it's not, because you're getting all of these different tastes from this great restaurant. And by going a la carte, it's going to be cheaper in the long run too. But you're still filling up. You still feel like you've gone and you've experienced what everyone else has.
Yeah. And in fact, I would also say if you're in a different city, if you're traveling and you know that there is this dish at a restaurant that you have always wanted to try, go ahead and go find that destination dish, but just get that dish. You don't have to get your whole dinner at that restaurant. Of course, if you can afford it, then that's great. You can have the whole experience of that restaurant and really make a wonderful memory for yourself. But sometimes that's not realistic because you've just saved money just to get out of town. You can't also save money for the most expensive meal of your life. So just be honest with yourself and be like, I'm going to go have that $120 cheesesteak at Barclay Prime in Philadelphia, but I'm pretty sure that my lunch will have to be at a different restaurant.
And, we've done that before. We traveled to Nashville together and we had done research on this amazing hotel. And it's ridiculously expensive to stay in. However, we wanted to experience it. So what did we do? We went to their rooftop bar at a happy hour time and we got a great frozen rosé and we were able to enjoy the ambiance, and we still felt like we experienced the luxury of this hotel without actually having to spend the night there. So there are little tricks to feeling fancy.
Always find the trick to feel fancy on your trip. You don't always have to pay for fancy.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're at home and you make the bath with the bath salts and then you light a candle and then you might put music on. There are little things that you can do to fancy up your trip that will really, really pay off in the end.
100%. You can even do things like that, in your hotel room. I know we've actually traveled together where we couldn't afford a spa day. So we had all of these great products that we did a spa day in our hotel.
We did that.
So we used the time to drink wine together and do a spa day right there. And it was still awesome and bonding.
Yeah, we kind of pooled all of our beauty products and then tried it on each other, and we did our nails. And so we got that spa experience and we got to talk the whole time, which normally you can't do
That's true.
in the spa. So sometimes, it's always great to go on vacation. I always look forward to it. I try to do it as much as I can. I don't get to do it as much as I want to, but I think that with our project, what we've realized is that planning vacations can be almost as enjoyable, and looking things up and realizing how big the world is. You can do that from your computer just like you can in real life. Of course, going to see the Himalayas is more effective than looking at an article about the Himalayas. But to be honest, if that's not in your budget, don't let that stop you from just soaking up all the information you can about the beautiful places that are on this earth and the places that, we have made. And
it's just like window shopping. Everything is at the touch of a screen. You get on your computer and you have access to the whole world. And there are things out there that we didn't even know existed. So when we start to research these luxurious places all over the world, it's actually inspiring. And so you get to experience it, even though through a computer, you get excited about it. And it does make you want to maybe save a little bit more to one day be able to go on these dream vacations.
So what is a luxury experience that we've talked about in the past year that you were amazed it even existed?
I think I am still in shock that Marlon Brando Island exists, that you can travel there and go on excursions to find, pearls and black pearls. I mean, it's just amazing to me that these things exist. And so I think that's probably one of the biggest shocks for me, was that I was like, oh, this is a real place and it's just gorgeous and it has all of these exclusive excursions you can go on.
Yeah,
what about
amazing. Mine would be this little bar in Milan that we found that only has room for 3 people inside. Possibly 2.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And it's tiny. It's called Backdoor 43. It's in Milan. And they have a to-go window that you can go to if you can't get the reservation inside. But when the bartender serves you at the to-go window, he wears a mask. And so no one gets to see the bartender except the people who have reserved their 2-hour slot inside the bar. And
that's amazing.
I know, like little things like that. Are you kidding? That's crazy. And what a great story. And I love that exists. And I love that somehow that business model can pay their rent. I don't understand how that works. There are a whole lot of stuff out there that amazes me every time that I look it up.
There you have it. You're proving the point that just because you may not be able to afford it, you still need to look it up and find it and experience it via the interwebs.
It's true. So don't worry. If you want to dream about luxury travel, dream about it. We actually finish every podcast the same way, and I think it actually applies. So thanks for listening to us. We're Lulu and Alison, and don't forget, with friends like us,
who needs amenities?
Thank you for joining us on another audio adventure right here at Wandertale, the travel podcast community. Subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for more travel stories from around the world and share tales with the open-minded, the brave, and the curious.